Hi, I'm Patty.
I'm Kim Michelle.
And I'm Jill. Welcome to our podcast. It's a great day to talk.
Because honestly, what day isn't a great day to talk?
So join us in our conversation.
A Great Day to Talk is brought to you by St. George Design, offering complete website design, social media management, search engine optimization, Google and Facebook ad management, and many other digital and print marketing services. stgeorgedesign.com. And by Richardson Brothers Custom Homes, third-generation builders who have been building custom homes in southern Utah for over 25 years. They will take your dream home from concept to completion. Contact richardsonbrothers.com.
Hello, all our friends. Welcome to Wednesday evening. We're so glad that you're here with us. I'm here with my beautiful friend, Patricia. To the right of me, and to the right of me, and to the right of Patricia is our beautiful friend, Kim Michelle.
Yes, she is.
And we're so happy to have you here. We're so happy to be here. And, you know, I just want to start tonight with the thought to you guys that, you know, we decided a long time ago that we should share our conversations with everybody because, you know,
we think they're so awesome.
We're so awesome. They're so awesome. We're so funny. And everybody wants to hear how funny we are. At the same time, we do real stuff. And today is one of those days that we're going to talk about real stuff. Our sweet friend Kim Michelle has been through it this last weekend. Her sweet stepdad passed away on Saturday. Mm-hmm. And the fact that she's here with us is, I just want you to know how much of a strength you are to me and how much of a strength I know you are to everyone right now in your family and extended family. And we're just going to talk about the real stuff around losing a family member. And, you know, our family, no matter what, is whatever we choose to define it and however we choose to live it and love it. And I know that for your family, Kim Michelle, when Keith came into your family, when your mom and Keith married, he was instantly brought in and loved by every single one of you. And he loved every single one of you.
Yes, he did. That is one of the most powerful and beautiful lessons from this whole thing is that, you know, he just became so just instantaneously,
right?
Really a part of our family, a part of our history, a part of all of that. And my mom had been single for a while, and she was so independent. And I didn't think that she would ever choose to marry. I don't know that she ever thought she would choose that, just because she had found this place in her life where she was making all of her own decisions and spending her time the way she chose to spend her time and not answering to anyone and not, you know, all of those kinds of things and coming and going as she pleased. And then it happened once she met him. It happened really so fast. It was like she talked to me one day. I think it was the first day that they met and went on a date on the farm, I think, on his tractor.
Farm.
And she's always been kind of a farm girl out there from Nova Scotia. And she was talking to me about it on the phone, and the way that she was talking about it, she got off the phone, and I turned to Scott and I said, I think she's going to marry him.
Oh.
Right after that very first conversation. And lo and behold, 6 weeks later, she's calling me. Well, not even 6 weeks, because they got married 6 weeks later. So just a few weeks later, she's saying, we're going to get married. And I'm like, you know, Mom, is there something else you need to tell me?
Right? Is this a shotgun wedding for a reason?
You know, they just were that fast. And so he's just been a joy in our family. And like you said, and we're a lot.
There's only 7 of you. I mean,
Right.
that's not a lot.
Right. There is just 7 of us, and then there's all of our children. And-
Yes.
But
What's the total?
oh
Throw
my
that total
gosh.
out
The
there.
grandchildren
Can you do that
total.
on the pull-in side or on the de-adder side?
Well, on the Mom, somebody out there should send me a message and help me here. But 20, that's 23, 20. I'm gonna say 42.
Oh my
-ish.
gosh.
Total. Kids and grandkids
Well,
and great grands.
we and sweet Stephanie.
yeah.
Yeah.
She's a great
She makes
gift
up the
of that.
majority. Yeah.
Yeah,
She gives. She's a
Because
giver.
she is.
A giver.
I think. Yeah. So
That's
just her
amazing.
kids are 20 something.
Yeah.
Sorry, in a world where my mind is totally functioning.
Probably not in the world of this week, but in a different
Right.
world, you would
Right. You would
have
know
that number
exactly.
right off the top of your
Right.
And
head.
all the names and ages.
Exactly. I totally would. That's
Absolutely.
why this week is a blessing, because it gives me this excuse, which I'm
Right.
going to totally play in this
Right.
moment. A lot,
Yeah.
and we're loud and
Full of
except
life.
me. I tend
Right.
to be demure and
Yeah.
unopinionated, and
We try really hard to get you to talk.
I know
It is hard.
I know.
We should
But
share more.
Exactly. So we can be a lot, and he just embraced it all, really. And I know there's probably a school of thought out there that says, when you're the step parent or whatever, then you don't engage as much. You're not really a parent there. You just kind of nope. He took that role very seriously, and he parented, but parented from a place of, I love you and you're blowing it here, or, congratulations, good job.
And grandparented.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And grandparented. And,
Yeah, all of
and
your
he was
kids.
also gifted. He brought art
Yeah, tell us about
amongst
his
our
gifts.
family.
Yeah.
Yeah, he loved to, just that came to him later in life. I think this drawing and painting, and my mom, bless her heart, they built an art studio for him in the back of their house, and for him to be able to go out there and have his space, because I think she knew we're a lot. And for him to have a space that he could go and away from us and do what he loved, which was paint. And he just really found a love and a passion for that in his later years, and showed in a lot of different shows. And
Wow.
yeah,
I didn't realize that part.
Yeah.
That's really
And
amazing.
so he really enjoyed that. And I know even when he was so anxious to come back home, he considered St. George his home. They had a home up north that my mom has had for years and years and years. That's been her home, and they've had that home, and then they bought a home down here together in 2013. And he was so anxious to come back home, and he had said this last time that they were going up north for the summer that, he thought that would be his last time going up north, not from a place of, because I'm not going to be here. I think he just was like, because this is,
We're going to move here.
yeah,
We're
this
going to
is-
stay
this
in
is-
St. George.
yeah, this is our home. And he was so anxious to come back home and to get back out in that art studio. And he also had a little wood shop.
Oh, gosh.
And he was a forester, and so he did a lot of work with trees. He could come and tell you what that tree is. And every time he came over to the house, he'd ask me to go out in the garden and get some mint for him. He just loved it. And I'd come back in, I'd put some in a little baggie for him to put in the freezer, but he'd put some right in his mouth and just chew away. I mean, he loved nature. He loved that part of it. He loved being out, amongst that. He loved to draw those things. He loved working with wood. He loved finding beautiful pieces of wood and letting the wood speak to him, and crafting things from those woods and from those different types of wood. And one of the things that he did was he crafted these wood ties. I think we have a picture
Oh gosh,
of
yeah.
him. Yeah. And he made these wood ties.
That is made of wood.
It is made of wood.
I love it. That is hilarious.
And he would paint different things on them. Scott's has a fish on it.
Oh,
perfect.
Because Scott
Yep.
loves to fish. And so he would find what people loved, and then he would make them a wood tie. And after he passed on Sunday, they did a special tribute to him, and everybody in the ward wore their
Oh,
Wood ties.
wood ties to
And I think everyone should wear that to the viewing
Yeah.
and to the service on Saturday.
Yeah,
That
I mean,
would've-
it was
that's so
just-
fun.
Yeah. So he loved that, and he loved finding a way to give in a very unique and special way. One of his favorite things in the whole world was when it came time to give my mom a gift. And it was always trying to find really something very special. It usually had something to do with either he was painting her something very special, or making something in the wood shop, or
Gosh.
doing something, a unique treatment with a picture or something. So every
Right.
time you'd go over there, he'd say, hey,
Come see.
come on out in the wood shop, but don't tell your mom,
Oh,
come
I
on
love
out in
it.
the art studio, but don't tell your mom, and I don't know. I don't think he hardly could ever wait until it was actually the day to show her. But
What a special gift, because to give a gift like that, you have to have forethought, and you have to be thinking of that person.
Yeah.
And what kind of thing can I do for that person in order to have the time to create it? What a special love he had
Yeah.
for your mom.
oh,
Right.
yeah.
Well, and I think just the bravery of both your mom and Keith to start over and remarry later on in life,
Yeah.
and wanting to have a companion, and your mom being so independent, and then she's like, okay, I'm ready to share
Yeah.
some things, and they were in their 70s, right?
Yeah.
I
And
think he was in his late
He was-
70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And boy, come on. They could both be very stubborn. Could be, Mom. I'm saying that you grew out
Not
of that. I'm
normally
so
happy
proud
about
of you.
Right.
But they always found a way back to and each other and through that, just like any other relationship, you hope, does. And they were so committed to each other. They both have their own medical things, but they spent a lot of time really caring for each other, and taking care of and looking out for each other. And
They seem to have taken great joy
yeah,
in
Yeah.
that role, and their time together.
Yeah.
I mean, they were always together.
always together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you look at our relationships, right? I mean, I adore my husband, and I would always choose to be with you 1,000% of every moment of every day. But probably you would need a break from me,
Right.
right? So, but they were always together.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think that's unique because, like you said, where we're at in our relationship, and we've all been married for a long time.
yeah, we have been.
We still have our own interests and activities that we do with our spouse and without our spouse. And I know, even just as an empty nester, we've adjusted to that, being around each other without the hustle and bustle of kids around. And also even for our parents, my parents are home together a lot, and I would say they're probably, it's probably good that my dad goes to the golf course a couple nights a week, and they have a little bit of space too, but
Yeah.
you know, good for your mom. I mean, maybe with the time she went for so long on her own, she was welcomed that
Well, I
together
think
time.
I mean, I think that
they didn't need that
was a
time anymore.
phase. You know, she had the opportunity to be able to explore that and get the benefits of what comes from that independence and the growth that comes from that, and then was ready for that companionship that comes from being in that. And they loved to travel together. I mean, I was so blessed. My sister and I were so blessed to be able to go to Nova Scotia with them 3 or 4 years ago and do a trip back there with them. And, such a fabulous, fabulous trip. And it was so, it was just magical how it happened. It was a last-minute decision, and I hadn't been back to Nova Scotia for probably 40 years, and I was like, I can't go now because I won't remember anybody. It'll just be embarrassing. I won't remember anybody, and it's been too long now. I really can't go back. And Stephanie really encouraged me, and I looked up the tickets, and they were just like too good to not go. And my sweet husband was just like, you have to go. It's in front of you right now for a reason. And so you have to go. And so I just made the very fast last-minute decision to go. And it was just the most delightful, sweetest trip. And so I got to go out and share that time with them. And they were so cute together.
That Keith's first time?
No. It wasn't his first time out there. And he loved it. He loved walking the farms out there. And, he loved it so much, and I think he probably knew it was his last trip out there, and so that was a little melancholy there as well. But my grandmother was still living when we went out there, and then she passed
Not
right
long.
after.
Yeah.
Just right after, you know. I mean, it was just, and Keith, he got home. He came home.
Yeah.
You know, they got home on Thursday at 3:30 or 4 o'clock, and then he just wasn't feeling well. He wasn't doing well, and they called the ambulance, and 6:30 they took him to the emergency room, and he
stayed.
He stayed, yeah. But he got home. He got back out to his art studio and came back in from the art studio, and that's when it was like, he's not doing well, you know, but he got back to those things that he loved so much.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of what he loved, Kim Michelle, what is a favorite memory of Keith that you loved? I mean, you mentioned the trip to Nova Scotia, which, oh my gosh, anybody that's read Anne of Green Gables knows that's the landscape of Nova Scotia. But separate and aside from that, what are some of the favorite memories or a favorite memory that you have around Keith, with or without your mom?
Yeah. Oh, well, this is going to seem odd, I'm sure, but one of my favorite memories, this is also just how wise he was, right? So my mom's house is not that large, plenty big
for the two of them, for sure.
North, even down here, plenty big for the two of them. But when we're all there, and all the kids are there, and there's wheelchairs there, you know, my sister's kids are gifted with the ability to zip around in electric
motorized wheelchairs.
Yes. And so, and there's just what some might phrase as chaos. We call it just living, but he'll be sitting in the middle of all of it. All of it's going on around him. Now, this is how wise. I'm sure his hearing aids are off.
Oh, that is
Off,
smart.
off.
Yes.
I'm sure they're off. But in that moment, he can just sit there and just watch it all and enjoy it all from that seat. And he would. You know, he was in his little zippy chair, and he would have kids on the back of his chair zipping him around, and they would put like crazy glasses on him and whatever, and he was always game.
Oh,
Wow.
Always game.
Not annoyed.
No, always game.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
Because I think my patience is, wears as I age a little too.
Yeah.
So how nice. What a joy.
Yeah. And I know that there were times when he was tired and, all of those kinds of things. And I know that my mom got to see those more than anybody else. And I just know how much she loved him and cared for him. And
yeah.
yeah.
A special 11-year relationship that every one of you get to hold, and all those grandkids and great-grandkids get to hold.
Yeah.
And your mom having those happy 11 years too.
Yeah.
And having made that brave choice to go at it.
Yeah. I think that is brave to say, I had an experience of marriage that wasn't necessarily the experience I had dreamed of. And now I've had an experience of being out there that I really have enjoyed.
Yeah.
She had gone back to school. She had a double master's. She was out working. She was really being an independent woman, which she had always encouraged us to be. And to re-choose into the possibility of that companionship and being in that loving kind of relationship, that's courageous.
That's
That's courageous.
Right. Well,
And,
and having someone depend on you and you depend on them when
and a whole nother family now.
A whole nother
that
family, yeah.
Right.
You're, regardless of how confident you are and who you are and the relationship you have, there's always how am I perceived there, regardless.
Sure.
Regardless,
Yep.
Yeah.
One of the things that I hear you talking about, and we've all talked about at different times, is this idea of our family and how we've created and how we love and define those. And I know that there's a picture up there of Keith with your mom and your whole family.
Yeah.
7
All the
siblings. And you guys hadn't been together
We had not.
for years.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, it was more than
All
a
of
decade.
us. It had been a long time since all of us had been together, and we actually we came in because my dad has been not
He's been
doing
struggling
well.
too.
Yeah, and so we had an opportunity to all come in, and it was like, oh, let's do it then, and then we can spend some time together and with everybody. And so we came in, and we actually took a bunch of pictures, and we were done, and we were going to go over to my dad's, and we came back in the house, and Keith hadn't been in the pictures. He'd been sleeping, and then he came down the hall, and my mom was like, oh, wait, let's go back out and get a few pictures with Keith. And that was just like probably 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
was
because
gonna
that was
say.
up north. You guys
Yeah.
are still up north.
Yeah.
Well, and people traveled. You have a brother back east. You have a
Yeah.
brother in Seattle or Oregon.
Yeah.
Or-
Yeah.
And so to have all of them come for that and
Yeah.
for your dad.
Yeah.
And then also to have that picture
Yeah.
without knowing that would be the last
Yeah.
picture.
Yeah.
What a treasure.
Yeah.
Another thing that I know you've told us about is that Keith was a veteran, and how fitting that this week is Veterans
Yeah.
Day. And tell us about how is the funeral going to go? Are you going to have the 21 gun salute? And is it
Yes.
21 guns, or do we just shoot 21 times? I don't know.
I think it depends on how many you get from the Rotary Club, right?
I'm not
Or
exactly,
no, American Legion.
American Legion. Yeah, I don't think it's 21.
No, I think
people
they shoot and then
21
shoot again.
times.
Mhm. Or no, so if like say 10 of them shoot and then 11 of them shoot, and that's 21.
Oh, just once. Okay. Well,
Yeah. Or twice if there's only 11 people. I don't know.
somebody tell us.
Yeah, somebody tell us out
I
there.
should know this.
Is it?
But whatever it is, I'm sure you guys are going to have.
Sean, do you
Yeah.
know?
Sean's gonna look it up.
I know that we did make arrangements around that, and just a shout out to my sister-in-law, Karen, who married my older brother. You're welcome, because she was my friend in college. Well, my and Scott's friend. We were all at
Groupies.
college together. Yeah, and so I nudged her very hard, and my brother, to kind of get together. And so, but just a shout out to her. She has just been such a gift to us this week, helping us with so many of the arrangements. And unfortunately, she can give us some insight there because she recently lost her mom. And so she's been through this and has just given us so much support around this. But I do know that we needed to provide the documentation that he was a veteran. So I know that has been, she's helped provide that. So I know that will happen. So we'll do a viewing here locally in St. George tomorrow night. And then we'll travel up north for a full viewing and a full service there. And then most likely another fuller memorial down here, but not next week because my beautiful sister, my niece, is getting married next week, and we are just in the celebration of that next week. But Keith was so looking forward to being at that wedding, so I know he'll be there.
Yeah, he'll be able to be there.
It just will look a little bit different, but he will definitely be there.
Yeah.
Sean, Sean, what do you have for us on the
21 gun salute in honor of a national flag, sovereign or chief of state of a foreign nation, a member of a reigning royal family, and the president, ex-president, president-elect of the United States. Not to be confused with the 3-rifle volley, which I think is probably what's going to be.
Yeah.
And then, let's see, gun salutes for other U.S. and foreign military and civilian leaders vary in number, but are always odd in numbers.
Oh.
So
maybe because 21 is odd.
Yeah.
There's a whole couple paragraphs here about why it's 21. I'll spare you. So.
Okay.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Well,
We're going to have to look it up
So
later, too.
it's probably going to be a 3-rifle salute, I'm assuming.
Yeah. So do I need to take mine or?
Keith would love that.
Your bayonet.
Okay,
Right.
never mind.
Right. But I cut Jill off just barely, and I'm sorry about that, but I want to go back to what she said, which was celebrate the joy of your niece, but also you have are able to celebrate Keith this week and this weekend and continue the celebrations, and I'm sure he will be there.
Oh, absolutely. And that's, that is, isn't that how life shows up? I mean, here we have both the sadness that comes with losing someone that you love dearly, and also the great joy that comes with the fact that you loved someone so dearly.
Right.
Yep. And
Same coin.
in the midst
sides.
of all of this, we lost Keith on Saturday, and then on Sunday, Scott and our son flew in from Northern California with his girlfriend, who they've been together for a while, but we haven't had a chance to physically meet. We've FaceTimed a couple of times, but we haven't had a chance to physically meet her. And he said, we're going to be in Las Vegas. And so we said, well, we'll drive down there. And so he sent us a message and said, hey, with everything that's going on, if you aren't able to make it in, we totally understand. And we're like, no, we'll be there, because I had a feeling.
Yep.
And so We drove into Vegas on Sunday and just came back. It was a really fast trip, but we drove in on Sunday, and our one son and his wife, Sean and Sanj, who we adore, they drove in as well. And there was an engagement.
Yes,
A
there
proposal.
was. That's so
That's right, a
exciting.
proposal. So, and then we're going to have this service this week, this Saturday. And then next week, our niece is stepping into this beautiful marriage for her that has, and she's had her, she's had challenges in her life, and now she has this beautiful chapter that is opening in her life. It's such such a reminder to always be looking. It's there. It's always there.
Right.
You just need to pause for a minute and make sure you're looking for it, or you might miss it.
I think that we get so wrapped up in our current, whatever is going on in the moment, that we forget we have to feel things on the surface, and we have to feel things really deeply.
Yeah.
And I think death brings us back to feeling like I wish I could do more regularly, because you do look at things and go, oh my God, how in the hell did I forget about what this means to me? How did I
Take anything for granted?
Right, and get so wrapped up in whatever, and so in my own head and in my own space that I got to remember to take the time to actually feel authentically and be in those moments and not take those moments for granted.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, can I read his obituary?
Yes, please.
All right. So, St. George, Keith Walter Zobel, born July 17th, 1932 in Price, Utah, passed away suddenly at the St. George Regional Hospital on October 30th, 2021. He was held in the arms of his wife and family members. He was raised in Montana, and Keith graduated from Brigham Young University and Utah State College. I will not hold that against him, that BYU place, but that's okay. He was a professional forester, serving in many states as a district forest ranger before becoming employed in the coal mining industry as an environmental engineer. Keith was very active in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, serving in many positions, including his greatest love, the Scouting program. He and his first wife, Afton, served a forestry mission in Sharon, Vermont. Upon returning, he was called as a traveling Forest Service missionary for the church, serving across the United States, including sites such as Hill Cumorah, the Sacred Grove, and this call was lasting 18 years. He had a great love for trees and became known as the Wooden Tie Man. He made wooden ties, which he gifted to many family members, friends, and ward members. On May 29th, 1953, he was married and sealed to his first loving wife, Afton Jensen, and had 5 children together. Following her death in September 2010, he married and later was sealed to D. Adder. I never... Okay.
Yeah.
Gaining 7 stepchildren, whom he loved and considered his own. He was a proud grandpa and adored by his 46 grandchildren and 48 great-grandchildren.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, is right. A viewing will be held, et cetera, et cetera. And we just really want to honor him and honor you and your mom at this time and know how much we love you.
Thank you. Thank you, my friends. And thank you for giving this time here. And
well, I think everyone, if anyone is listening, everyone who's listening can relate to losing a loved one, or like Scott said, being blessed with a bonus parent.
Yeah.
And your kids being blessed with a bonus grandparent. Yeah. And I think it's very relative, especially with what we've all got going on. We need to celebrate, and it's Veterans Day, and your Keith honored that.
For sure.
So I'm happy to have learned about him.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that we got to meet him. And he
Yeah.
was dressed up
His
in
Halloween.
such a cute Halloween
Yeah.
costume.
That was, I think, the last. Oh, I've met him before. Did we meet him at a meeting once that your mom went to over in Entrada?
Probably.
I think they were there, and then we also met at the Halloween party 3 years ago.
Well, and at the wedding.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, and the wedding, yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Just always a smile on his face.
Yep.
Hugging you, my friend.
Thank you.
Yes, and your mom,
Yes,
And
for sure.
your siblings and
of
your
course,
kids.
of course.
Yeah.
All right, friends, thank you so much for being
Yeah.
here.
Thank
Hug your
you.
loved ones.
Hug your loved
big
ones.
hugs.
Yes,
And we're hugging you too.
Yeah.
yes.
Have a good week.
Bye.
Thanks for stopping in.
Thanks for listening to It's a Great Day to Talk. Be sure to follow and subscribe to us on your favorite podcast platform.
And until next week,
Get out there and talk.
This has been a production from a podcast studio.